Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here again on Sunday, January 19th, 2014 at about 14:25 in the afternoon Eastern Time now. Um, the video that I just now recorded uh, of me singing Holy God, We Praise Thy Name uh, will be up separately. But that was the opening hymn today from our church service. And it was a single service at 9:30 because we're going to have we did have the annual parish meeting after the service. And I sang you the 3-verse version from I put the book away, the 1940 Episcopal Church hymnal. But the 1982 Episcopal Church hymnal has an 8-verse version. Um, I've heard the variants of those lyrics, uh, particularly in services for ordination, in both. Well, not in both. I mean, I've heard them in a confirmation service for the Roman Catholic Church, where my son teaches the confirmands. I've heard them in an ordination service for the Episcopal Church, but it's different lyrics. It dwells solely on the Holy Ghost, and actually, modified lyrics are part of the Episcopal ordination service, or they were. Or I don't know what they are now. They may be just sort of like a big feel-good hug, at a campfire or something. Go out and embrace Gaia. Lord knows what they do now in the U.S. Episcopal Church. I don't know where that one came from. I wasn't planning on that one. Well, anyway, so we did morning prayer as the ante communion service, and then we did Holy Communion. And Charles gave a pretty good sermon. See, this is close to the feast day of the Confession of St. Peter, and that's one of Charles's favorite gospel passages. The one where it says, the gates of hell shall not prevail against you, and he's preached on that several times. He's very good at that, and even in a set piece sermon, he's very good at this. And so that went well, and so that got done, and we sang another good one at the end. The church's firm foundation is Jesus Christ your Lord. The church's one foundation. Now they changed these words slightly. When we sang it just about every third week at the Methodist church in which I grew up, it's a Samuel Wesley. Samuel Wesley wrote the hymn. He wrote almost 1,000 or 1,500 hymns, and it's and it's great. It's very singable, and of course, when you grow up with this stuff, it's very emotional. And then in the middle of the service, we had done the thing with the what would be serve as a sequence hymn before the gospel was the old 124th. And you're using the mid-16th century tune, which that's much better than some late 20th century British, knacker knocker, calling it art and calling it music tune that they seem to trot out every Christmas Eve there at King's College Chapel when they commission a new piece of music. So it was a good thing, and our new choir directress, organist, Erin Petrella, she really rocked out there on the postlude, and people actually stood at their seats and shut up for a while and listened to her. That's refreshing, rather than having everybody rushing around to clutch each other and chat. I haven't said this nearly enough recently. Give me a break. Just give me a break. Well, sorry. I took the signboard numbers down because that cuts a bit of slack for the Alder Guild. And well, see, here comes the meat of the tale, so to speak, because the last few years we've just had the parish meeting right up there in the church, right after the service. Everybody sit down. We're gonna have the parish meeting. See that way you capture everybody. You've got them all in the room. They can't escape. Whereas if you have a potluck and then have the parish meeting, then people drift off. They filter away. And how can you do discernment when they filter away? That could be like a slogan, couldn't it? How can you do community problem solving if we've all... Oh, no, not we've all, because there's always going to be a few people sit around and stay around. And of course, those then are the ones that are going to be making decisions. See, that's a very good administrative / political tactic. Wait for the weak ones to drift away from the herd. And then you can set up exactly the regime you want. It's an organization, it's a sort of a very special kind of organization, but as long as it's in the realm of the human, it's an organization. It might be the bride of Christ, but like a lot of brides, it's imperfect. So, okay. So I thought, I'm going to just sort of hang around up in the hallway for a while because these people are going to be milling around and shuffling around, and they had all the tables set out. And of course, my word, it's just people eating a potluck dinner. People, you don't need to put out these elaborate table settings and things, and centerpieces. Come on, give me a break. Just here's some food. Then we can all sit down, and then we can eat a little bit, and then we can start the meeting because a lot of this meeting's boilerplate administrative stuff that's required by the the bylaws and the state of Ohio and the organizational bylaws, in terms of, since it's organized as a corporation, there's certain things you have to do. You can sort of just say, that's sort of like what it is. I didn't think there was anything particularly contentious on the agenda today, but good luck finding an agenda. Generally, when you pop downstairs for the meeting, or if the meeting was upstairs, you could find an agenda even before the meeting, so you could sort of scan through it to see if there are any little hidden surprises. If the sort of the vocabulary of those who are gaming the system. It's all politics, isn't it? Except it's up close and personal, so you can get a greater appreciation of it. So I didn't see an agenda. I didn't see a an order, any of this stuff. So I went back upstairs and hung around. I love to say. I hate that phrase, hang around. I want to hang with you. I want to hang. I'm just hanging. That had an entirely different meaning when I was in college, by the way. But that's a long time ago. And we're here now. Thank God. So, so I went back to, well, see, then I talked to this woman who's got, well, she's gluten intolerant. She's actually got not quite full-blown celiac disease or sprue, but she's pretty potently gluten intolerant. You know, I mean, real gluten intolerance, not somebody who thinks, oh, it's trendy, I'm going to start going around saying I'm gluten intolerant. You know, which now probably constitutes about 80% of the people that say they're gluten intolerant. Oh, I have a little diarrhea, I must be gluten intolerant. Hello, cramp. I must be gluten. Give me a break. I've seen people with celiac disease and sprue, you know, and a little diarrhea and cramping ain't what they got. This woman's thin as a rail and has always had that problem ever since she was like 4. And it wasn't until her, early 30s, mid 30s that she was actually diagnosed. So she basically was more or less functionally starved for about 25 years. Anyway, we chatted a bit about, actually we chatted about food bullying. Well, I chatted a bit about food bullying, and then she chatted about the unavailability of food for people who were gluten intolerant. And I said, well, one, it's a potluck. I didn't bring anything. So I don't feel right eating, food, when I didn't contribute anything. Yeah, that's just very basic. If you didn't bring anything to help out, then don't eat the food. And still, you get the people that say, and they are absolutely loving, well-intentioned, kind, generous people. It's not their problem. It's my problem. It's my problem. But, unless I've lent a hand, I don't feel right taking anything out of it. Nonetheless, I've tried sitting down there and just sitting and smiling and chatting and trying to be charming and gracious. And unless you are shoveling food into your face, people will not let you alone. They will not let you alone. They're food bullies. Now listen, I'm going to tell you, I have been bullied by food bullies the better part of my sentient life. My family, God bless them, fun. Well, some of them quite fun. My dad's side was very fun anyway. My mother's side was too, the ones that smoke and drank. They're always fun, aren't they? Well, not always, but generally. Here's some food. They say, you want some food? I said, well, no, hey, I'm not hungry. I'm full. I've got a big dinner planned tonight. You always make some sort of, little excuse. Well, and if anybody has any sense, who's known me for more than about 2 microseconds, they know just to accept what I say. Shut up. No. So, over the last 19 years of doing this up there at that church, and God bless them. I love this church. I've almost walked out about 7 or 8 times, but I haven't, and because it's. I was like, where the hell else am I going to go? I'm far closer theologically to a lot of the, how shall we say, more literal hardcore guys, but they just aren't going to tolerate somebody like me, are they? Guess that gets down to how they actually act on the command to love thy neighbor. And don't give me that love the sinner, not the sin shit. That's a bunch of crap. So, anyway, that sort of came out of the blue too, didn't it? So I decided, so I thought, well, I waited a while. Well, I'll go down and maybe there's something, First of all, I was waiting for the line to clear up. Because then you sort of go down the line and sort of, graze, discreetly graze. And ideally, in times past, they would start the meeting while the meal was still in progress. And so, you can sort of sit back there or stand back there by the residual buffet table and sort of graze a bit. Just, not a lot. But, well, that wasn't going to be the case today because they ran out of plates. No, they had set all these tables up with actual ceramic, crockery type plates. It's very nice. I mean, but there wasn't a paper plate to be found in that church building to save your life after they ran out. Well, I think there were only 2 of us affected. Well, actually, no, that's not quite true because there were 2 of us left and there was 1 crockery plate, and I said to the choir director, Aaron, I said, go. Well, I had a dual motive. One, I was trying to be kind and generous, and 2, I was thinking, I really have some other things I need to sort of do, more of that anon, as I like to say. But so I went upstairs, and I actually did look a little bit upstairs for some paper plates in the other room, in the coffee room. No. Paper plates are gone. SOL, guys. Well, so I thought, do I really want to sit around here with my thumb up my behind, for, 45 minutes while people say, hey, why aren't you eating? You have to go through all this, just food bullies. I have been bullied. Just don't bully me, guys. If you ask me a question and I, give you an answer, consider it asked and answered. I appreciate your generosity. Just don't do that to me. I didn't tolerate it well when I was a kid. I didn't tolerate it as well when I was in my, teens. I didn't tolerate it when I was in my 20s. And I sure don't tolerate it now. No, I'm getting red in the face, I noticed. Well, so I went home. Got home safely, by the grace of God. Actually, interestingly, it's an interesting point. Now, this is for all you legalistic guys out there. According to the church bylaws, I'm not even a member of the parish. According to the church bylaws, you have to have been baptized into the Episcopal Church and confirmed in the Episcopal Church and be of a certain age, be over 16. Well, a voting member. And attend regularly and make a pledge. That's at least how our church bylaws read. Now, I've been baptized, but not in the U.S. Episcopal Church. They say, well, if you haven't been baptized in the Episcopal Church, you can have a letter of transfer. There's no way I'm going to let it go through that nonsense. I've been baptized. I've got a baptismal certificate. You have to have a letter of transfer from a previous church. Well, my previous church, I bailed out of that when I was about 13. Well, no, that's not quite true. I went from the church in which I had been baptized and then went to Sunday school when I was 13. Then I spent, 2 years to a Baptist church in which I had, what's a Baptist church? There's no sort of paperwork involved. It's a Baptist church. God bless them. You got to love the Baptists. I do. This is American Baptists. They're the ones that didn't own slaves during the Civil War. I wanted my best buddy Mark. And then I started to work at the airport. Then I go to church. And Mark goes, I had a job. You know, you get a job. I mean, working on Sunday, working on the Lord's Day. Well, say what you want about that. You know, it bought me my private pilot's license and helped me pay for half my college eventually, along with other stuff. So, as I always said to myself and to Thomas, everything in life's a trade-off. Just be careful what you're trading for, I guess. So I went home. And everything was well, very, very, very fortunately. Now, I could keep going on with this video, or I could do a second half of this video. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to warn my I'm going to make a second video here, or a third video, actually, more properly, because this video has been very appropriate for general consumption. Oh, I guess I really ought to say I have no idea what they're going to be doing at the annual meeting. So I'll be interested to find out what they did or didn't do, what they talked about. But you know, I just couldn't stand there and you know, I've said that enough. So anyway, so I'm going to sign off, and then now about half of my subscribers are straight. Half of my subscribers are gay and a little quirky and offbeat. You know, and sort of then there's like I hate Venn diagrams. Hate's not too strong a word for that. I hate Venn diagrams, but there's always this interlocking overlap. You know, some of both groups are interested in religious topics. Excuse me. And some are more interested in more purient matters, more lively matters. Well, this third video is going to be devoted to, primarily the gay audience. Y'all are hereby warned. You're all hereby warned. And perhaps such more purient. But nothing that can't be discussed in front of the, how shall we say, children that have become horny. Oh, that already gives you an idea of what it's going to be like, don't it? Alrighty. I'm going to say bye-bye now, YouTubers, on this one. God bless you all, in all seriousness.